Every story has a beginning, and every day is the start of something new. At Crystal Cruises, we believe a voyage should take you further than your destination. We believe it's time to begin a new story, one that surrounds you with the finest luxury the world has to offer, while presenting you a world of new experience in every port. There are as many beautiful stories as there are drops in the ocean. Write yours. Call Cruising with Christine to book your Crystal Cruise today.
Welcome back. Well, here we are, what I call the first real day of fall. And while you may not be thinking about cruising a year from now, Crystal Cruises is. And we have today Eric Graves, the Vice President of Sales. And we were just talking just a minute ago. I'm looking at your rather lavish booklet here, more of a book, really, catalog. And I was remarking, wow, really, 2015. People can plan cruises already.
Yeah, 2015, we're even dabbling with 2016 these days, so people like to plan ahead, and that's what they want to do.
They do, and when I'm looking over this very, very quickly here, it seems to me just the dozens and dozens and dozens of different cruises that Crystal Cruises have, and it's a segment that over the past few years has really grown, hasn't it?
It has. The Crystal Cruises is the reason we move around the world is that we have guests that travel with us who've been everywhere and done everything, and a lot of them are first timers too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but the idea of being able to move the ships, we have the big advantage over the world of hotels because when you can move a ship around, you can see the world. Pack and unpack only once,
Mm-hmm.
go to all sorts of places, but we have been able to cover the globe. We have just the two ships, the Crystal Symphony and the Crystal Serenity, but we can cover the globe beautifully with those products. So it doesn't take an awful lot of ships to cover this world, believe it or not. It's much more finite than you think.
And you are often well regarded, in fact, two very known publications in the travel and leisure world, where there's Travel and Leisure magazine, Condé Nast as well. Everyone's heard of Condé Nast.
Yeah.
I think they're the epitome of lifestyle travel as far as the magazines and publications they put out. And they both pick you as the world's best.
Well, and we're very proud of that. Condé Nast Traveler and Travel and Leisure, probably two of the most respected publications. Yeah. And the nice part, when they pick us, it's not like by advertising in these publications. It's their readership that basically have voted us. I think they've been doing those programs, Condé Nast, for I think 19 years, and wow. Travel and Leisure 18 years. And we have been recognized as the world's best product with them more often than any other hotel, resort, airline, cruise line, more than any other of the travel, basically the entities. Mm-hmm. So we're really proud of that fact, and I think why we have been. It's interesting because you always wonder, gee, I wonder if they've got rock climbing walls, and do we have ice skating rinks and mm-hmm. things. Crystal, that isn't what we're all about. What we're about is service. What we are about is our crew, and we think they're the best in the business. Obviously, these publications
right.
think so as well, because it's not a hardware issue. We call it software, which mm-hmm. is the crew and the attitude and the service, and that's what we think differentiates us.
And I would have to think, too, you mentioned you have just two ships. Mm-hmm. Unlike there's some cruise lines who have, I don't know how many,
way
dozens
too many.
And dozens and dozens. So the attention to detail in service must be impeccable because you're concentrating on two cruises going on at once and not 100 cruises going on at once.
It does give us an advantage, there's no question. Mm-hmm. The other thing is what we're very proud of and why Crystal, I think, has developed its reputation is that we have the lowest turnover of crew than any other cruise line by a pretty good margin. We started this cruise line in 1990, so we're in our about our 23rd year. And 60% of the people, the crew that were with us at the beginning, are still with us. Most cruise ships, just to put it in perspective, have a turnover of 70% of their crew every year.
Wow.
So for us to have 60% 20 plus years
Yeah.
later, I think is indicative of the fact that we try to treat them right. We try to treat them with great respect. And if you treat them with respect, they'll treat the guests with respect, and it all is hopefully one giant happy family.
Yeah, I think that's very, very true. And you talk about Crystal Cruises, how the cruises are all inclusive. Now, what does that mean exactly to the guests that are aboard for the time frame that they're on the ship?
Well, what's interesting about, we are in the so-called luxury cruise category. There really are three categories of cruising. There's a contemporary, which is a little bit more of a entry-level cruise experience.
Okay.
There's a premium in the middle, and then there's a luxury. That's the way the cruise business is pretty well separated. We are, being in the luxury category, we are an all-inclusive product, which means we include, there are no real surprises when you get there. What happens in many cruise lines, you'll go on board and you'll think, well, gee, this was a very inexpensive purchase, this was great, and then you get out on the high seas, and suddenly you're being charged for ice cream, and you're being charged for Pilates classes, and you're being charged for this and being charged for that. The all-inclusive product and the big advantages of the luxury product, which puts us very close in terms of a costing factor, in comparison with these other cruise lines, is we include virtually everything, including the alcoholic beverages, including your gratuities.
Including the gratuities?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they don't feel like somebody's waiting and hovering and with their hand out and all that sort of feeling. So so the all-inclusive experience means you don't get hit with all sorts of incremental costs that you didn't expect, and then you get back and you look at your credit card bill a month later and say, what happened?
Yeah, especially the alcoholic beverages, because very few, even some of the luxury cruise lines, will still have an upcharge.
Right.
For that. They might have beer and wine, but if you want something else. Now, on board, you obviously have a variety of restaurants, and we were just looking at a little bit of some of the food that was there. Are all the restaurants included? Is there an upcharge for like a certain
No
special occasion type
upcharge.
restaurant?
No upcharge. We have the Crystal Dining Room on both vessels. We also have two alternative dining experiences that we've had from the beginning, and those are both. We have Prego, which is our Italian cuisine, which is actually overseen by Piero Salvaggio, who is his Valentino restaurant in both LA and in Las Vegas is renowned. Probably even more well-renowned is our relationship with our Silk Road Asian restaurant, which is overseen by Nobu Matsuhisa. Sure. And everyone who's been to a Nobu restaurant, I think, understands that it's probably one of the finest Asian cuisine restaurants in the world. Yeah. He has been a partner of ours from the beginning. It's wonderful to be able to go in and experience Nobu at no additional cost, because I can tell you, if you go to the one in Malibu or if you go to the one in Beverly Hills, it can be a little bit of sticker shock. So we're very excited. We're very excited about the fact that that's included. The gratuities in those respective restaurants are also included, so there are no surprises. It's a tremendous addition to the experience, and frankly, with our verandas, of which we have about 80% of the rooms have a private veranda for each of your. You can have all 7 courses of your Crystal Dining Room experience right in your room on any given night. You just wanted to kick back and put your feet up on the veranda as you're watching the world go by. We can do it that way as well.
Should families consider this? I mean, you talk about luxury, and of course, for this community, I think it's a wonderful thing. You know, a couple may go on, or maybe some friends or something like that. But what about if we want a cruise that is going to include our grandchildren? We
at Crystal, and as a luxury product, it's funny, I got to say this carefully, because there's nothing better than having children, and there's nothing better than having children and grandchildren. I think it's a great thing, as I know it firsthand. But I can tell you that your kids and your grandkids are not necessarily as cute to the rest of the world as they are to you.
Right.
So what we have with Crystal, with a product of about a 50,000-ton ship, is we, in the luxury arena of cruising, we can hide these fine children in the sense, but we have a tremendous program, especially during the summertime and during the holiday periods, where we have junior activities hosts and hostesses who take care of those kids, and have a tremendous program where they can keep them active and involved, and you can see them at dinner time, so to speak, which is a perfect way to do things. But multi-generational families and reunions and is the number one group experience now in the cruise business, period. Not just at Crystal, but it's a tremendous opportunity. It's nothing more exciting than be able to go and do all of this. And kids, of course, have a tendency to get a soft drink, or they have to, grabbing an ice cream every 2 or 3 minutes. And it beats a resort experience where you've got a $7 bottle of Evian water that can add up very, very quickly. So to have the kids aboard and have that experience, we keep them very busy, we keep them active, and yet we also keep them out of sight, which is a perfect formula.
Well, if somebody's interested in finding out more about Crystal Cruises, the best way to do that is contact Christine Anderson of Cruising with Christine, and the number's on the screen, 949-455-2593. And if you book your cruise by October 31st, you'll get some additional savings on there, and there's 2-for-1 air from $700 on select Asia and Australian cruises, complimentary gratuities, specialty restaurants, fine wines, all kinds of great stuff on Crystal Cruises. It's nice to have you here today.
It's a privilege to be here. And by the way, Christine I had the privilege of working with Christine for many years at Crystal, so not only is she an expert on all other cruise lines, but she particularly knows a lot about us. So I can't imagine anyone more knowledgeable as if they might be interested in talking with her.
All right, very good. Crystal Cruises, and again, you want to go on that, call Cruising with Christine, 949-455-2593. Good time to plan for that cruise, maybe even 2 years in advance. Nice to have you on.
Privilege. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Yeah, we can.
Hello, I'm Christine Anderson, your luxury cruise concierge. Would you like to take a cruise and you don't know where to begin? My 30 years in the travel business has given me invaluable knowledge of where to cruise in the world. I have worked for 3 award-winning luxury cruise lines. Whether you're cruising alone or with a group, I can book you on the perfect ship and destination. Call me, Cruising with Christine, for your private appointment. It would be my absolute pleasure to book you on a fabulous vacation of a lifetime.